Hey there, gang. Miss me? What I've got for you guys is a whole bunch of content lined up that I'm planning to get produced and we'll have posted in the next week or so. Probably at least 5+ matches, so I'm really excited to start dishing them out for you guys. First things first is this one match I played on Cold Tower before the anniversary, because I know that, as y'all can see, technically the anniversary has begun. This was a match that I recorded pre-anniversary. We ended up going against a very strong team that necessitated me to play very smart, not just in chase, but outside of chase, making very smart macro decisions. And when you're playing a killer like Clown, who excels in the 1v1, but not the 1v4, this puts extra impetus on making smart decision making, because if you don't, then it doesn't really matter how strong you are in chase, because as Clown is a 1v1 killer and not a 1v4 killer, you will still lose. And this is especially so if you're running a build like you see before me right now that doesn't have any gen regression perks. When you are running a build that is all about the chase and all about giving you utility either in chase and outside of it, and you don't have anything to slow the game down itself, you need to be making smart decisions when it comes to who to chase and where you pressure yourself on the map. Because again, when you're playing a killer with low mobility who excels in the 1v1 and not the 1v4, you can only do so much when it comes to macro. So the build that we have before us, remember this is post buff, we have 6 bottles at base. The new cheap gin bottle gives us that extra 3% invigoration. This is essentially Flask of Bleach, but for yellows. And I prefer this over Flask of Bleach, given that your yellows bottle for bottle at base are already stronger, yellow versus pink. This now makes it even better. We also have Cigar Box, which is an add-on that is great for these high wall tiles. And what y'all are going to notice, we went up against a bunch of distortion users in this match, so this actually made our match harder by comparison. However, my reasoning for running this add-on isn't even so much the utility of that R reading. It's the fact that behavior kind of scuffed scratch marks recently, so we've been kind of using this as, I like to call it, an accessibility add-on. Now, when it comes to our perks, we have Coup de Grace. I mean, Coup de Grace is self-explanatory, the lethality that it gives both at singular tiles and when tile chaining. Zanshin tactics as well for maintaining that momentum. This pairing of perks right here, I have been running in almost every single build for the last few months. Not just for casual, but for serious builds. Together, they have unparalleled synergy. Personally, I find even taking off one of these perks makes my chases harder. So I really nowadays like running them together and basing whatever my other 2 perks are around that, and as far as the limited opportunity cost. Now, some people might see Lightborn and they say, why are you running Lightborn? And while Lightborn is a perk that a lot of people say that you can just, quote, look at the wall, you know, like that's kind of the meme, there are going to be plenty of situations where you can't really do that. Either you're playing on a map like such as Rotten Fields or any corn map where a survivor goes down in a dead zone and there are literally no walls to play around. But more importantly, again, this was pre-nerf, you had background player flashbang. And when you're dealing against survivors that have background player and flashbang together, especially pre-nerf, there is virtually zero counterplay to that combo. If you are facing a wall and a survivor has background player and flashbang, you will not stop the save. They will still get the blind off. You will still drop that survivor. So running Lightborn as a counter to background player and flashbang is actually required. And with how popular it was right before the nerf took place, that was why I started to run it. And lastly, we have Gearhead. Now, because survivors do like to run distortion, it's been ever much so popular both before the anniversary and even currently. Gearhead allows you to remove those stacks from survivors both when they're outside of your terror radius, when they're inside of your terror radius, and that's what really makes it so great, because being able to keep up with the removal of those distortion stacks means that if you do have to initiate a chase with a survivor that has distortion, you're not spending the majority of the chase not only not seeing scratch marks, but also not having the R reading. And lastly, I was sending myself to Macmillan because, again, before the anniversary with all the stuff going on, they boosted a lot of really terrible maps. They boosted RPD, Garden of Joy, things like that. And with these being so terrible to go against if you don't bring a map offering, I was bringing Macmillan to get a balanced match for both sides. We ended up getting Cold Tower a lot, and I love Cold Tower on Clown. Y'all are going to hear my thoughts on that. But why I chose this match in particular is that it has probably some of the best commentary I've recorded as of late. I think you guys are going to find it very insightful. And again, a lot of it really boils down to the importance of macro decision making in Clown's limited capacity. So without saying more, I hope you guys enjoy. Holy shit. Thank Cranberry, you are a legend. Thank you so much. I roll Clown, you're here for it? Hell fucking yeah. First things first though, gang, we spawned on Comp Tower. This is actually one of my favorite clown maps to play on. It's a balanced map. It's not super clown-sided at all, but it's very balanced. Very important tip. We were watching, Ross, we were watching John earlier. You kick these doors. I saw Johnny only kick one of these doors. I started to literally cry IRL. There's no way someone's like right over here. What the fuck? What was that? That couldn't have been a Pebble Gaming. I don't know. They saboed my fucking hooks. All these crows tell me no one's here. What are you doing? Look at this little demon going around saboing all my hooks. Pre-drop, pre-drop. No pre-drop. Nice little jungle gym. We're gonna throw the yellow right through the window. This forces her to... She's actually got really strong padding. Really strong padding coming out of the UE. Y'all see her tile chaining? Not even kidding. That is very strong tile chaining coming out of the UE. She actually is very fucking patient. Look at her. Fuck, I need more bottles. Actually, do we? No! She's better than me! I knew she was abandoning at that point. Good fucking chase, hot damn. Good fucking chase, ladies and gentlemen. She's actually really fucking good. We're gonna lose at least one gen, I think, by the way. If one survivor has a toolbox, we lose a gen. One gen's gonna have 50% progress. That was a very solid chase on her part, though. Yep, there's that first gen I was telling you about, ladies and gentlemen. First gen just popped. I called it out with the internal clock. We'll kick this and then kick that pallet. You love clowns and high trends. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Cranberry. I hope you like that setup there. That very high-level clown yellow-pink setup. We tried to play off the momentum earlier and we just were not able to get it. We're not gonna camp here, unironically. When you have a build like this, builds like these, you do not camp or tunnel unless it's extremely opportunistic. Extremely opportunistic. Oh my gosh, dude, you are a freaking... He's got sprint burst. That explains why I wouldn't pre-drop. Very good. Is he gonna want to play window? He is. He is. That's where Coup comes in, gang. Again, it's all about your momentum. All about the momentum. We're coming to the 4-lane pause with this on our side. Look at that, gang. Look at that pink setup on the all. Yui, what the fuck are you doing? No, get away from that pallet! Get away from that pallet! No, get away from the pallet! Yui's on that side of the map, so we go to this side.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Cranberry, again. I love you so much. Thank you. My gens! The game just started! We're going to this fucking Yui, dude. Yui, I expect a phenomenal chase. I'm actually gonna put some respect on your name and reload. You still get this? Good shit. She's smart, she pre-drops. Notice how when she realized she was gonna get hit at the pallet, she tries the towel chain. I was hoping she didn't have dead hard, because we have to get a swing in. You're loving it up. Okay, Caritha, okay. Like you just haven't been loving up on Ross. Like you haven't just been... JK, it's Cranberry, you're allowed. Oh, okay, I didn't read the rest of that comment. I was focused on the... Love you, babe. Alright, where are we heading from here? I think they rotated this gen. No rotation. Now this is a good corner. Ooh. I'm actually gonna go back. Have we hooked this gamer? Don't think we actually, I think did. We did. Yes, this is the Jake, we did. This is called a rotation, Oh, yo. No. I could have probably hit that if I went on bottle cooldown, but that's fine. We'll just set up with this. Perfect setup. That's all momentum, ladies and gentlemen. All momentum. Yellow's not for you, my guys, for me. This is an LT. We get this. We get this with Coup. Oh! What I tell you, I said we do get that with Coup. We do get that. I swear, if we get fucking sabotaged by this fucking Yui. Okay, good shit, good shit. Lots of love on here for sure. It definitely is, yeah. Can y'all stop doing my gens? We're gonna check this corner. Yeah, that scratch mark tells me someone's over here. Someone was over here. Okay, okay, okay. Probably rotating wide. This gen is done. Good to know. We're going back. We're going back. Do you know why? Because I know this is Yui over here. 100% guarantee Yui is unhooked. What'd I tell you? That's game sense, by the way. That is literally game sense how I knew it was Yui. And remember, Yui's already been hooked twice. Game sense is extremely important when you're playing a killer with low macro. Notice how they're now coming in a body block? We break early because we know she broke early as well. She needs to play this. Oh my gosh, this fucking pallet. Oh my gosh, oh my god. Get the fuck back here. We have multiple things over here, multiple hooks. He can't only do so many about them. Why are the bottle sounds so satisfying? Because they're fucking satisfying, that's why. Ooh. Come back here, come back here. Remember, Jake is on death hook. So what I kind of want to do now, since we do have somebody injured that's not Jake, I want to get a hook on this Felix, so that way I can pull Jake over to me. Reload right now. We don't want to risk our final Coup stack. This is going to force a towel chain, which is good. We're going to go ahead and look to see if we can play pallet. He's going to look to make pallet possession. That's fine. Can't get the rotation nation. Oh my gosh. I put a little too much respect on his name, potentially. I'm just kidding. Oh, that's good. We want to get a hook now back on this corner. If we can identify where Ace is, and that means we'll know if Jake comes for the unhook, and he is the one on death hook as well. We are just going to hook corner. This is just vulnerable. We will do this. I expected that to happen. The question is, can we... This is gen does not have any progress. Good to know, good to know. Broken 3 gen, also not very good. We need to establish where Ace is. That is Jake. That is literally all I needed to know. That is all I needed to know. We commit to this now. We commit to this. 2 stacks of Coup? We're doing this because the gen is this much progress. Honestly, I don't know about this. This is gonna be rough. They don't have progress on other gens. We are somewhat close enough. Is he towel chain? He does towel chain. He does towel chain. Do you think they're gonna rotate? We haven't had a chance to rotate yet because he's going to the hook. Fucking distortion gamers, really? I really overshot that. We need to hurry. We need to hurry. They might be looking to 2-man that gen. If they run back to that gen, it pops before I get there. That's why we're hooking aggressively, FYI, because we need to get back to that gen. I'm expecting them to rotate while injured. They decided to heal. Unironically, not a bad call either. God, I love you, thank you. Sorry, we're so locked in right now, Ross. We are so locked in. This is amazing. This is so amazing. He's got distortion, FY. We're gonna chew through some of these stacks. They both have distortion. Y'all are actually fucking crazy. Yes, balance. Balance is out the way. 1 stack of Coup. I want to save this so badly. This forces Jake. This forces Jake over here. They can't get a safe unhook from it with Felix. This forces Jake to have to come here, and Jake is also on death hook, and he can't do that while also contesting this. Slug, go back. I don't think Jake's in position. I don't think Jake's in position. He is in position. We have 2 tunnel outs, though. It's hard to say who to go for. Maybe go back to Gen, because I think he's gonna be looking to do the Gen. I don't think he's gonna be looking to pick up the slug. That'll also remove anti-tunnel as well. No, he's not. Okay, we have enough time now to go for the slug. We put him on the hook. He healed. I don't think they grouped up. I actually wonder if he has inner healing. That Jin has lost so much fucking progress. Remember, we have 2 other tunnel outs now. They probably rotated to this Gen, maybe. No, they didn't. Why would I even think they would? This Gen had literally no progress. We want to take an efficient pathing in both sides. We want to split down the middle with our pathing so we can see if they go left, see if they go right. Remember, literally everybody's on death hook here. I kind of want to slug. We may go for this and slug. I'm thinking slugging's actually the right call. Remember, he does a bounce landing. We want to actually interrupt the bounce landing. No stacks of Coup means we can afford to lunge aggressively. This Gen is still regressing. This Gen's still regressing. We're actually going to check over here. They're going back. I hear footsteps. They're not my own. Footsteps that are not my own, I feel like. No? This is such a rough call to make. We have 2 tunnel outs. Fuck, dude, why is Distortion such a fucking PETA? Distortion is such a fucking pain in the ass. I literally can't do anything about Distortion in this situation. Now we do go back and we do consider hooking Felix. I think at this point it is the right call. He's also in death hook. Remember, he has sprint burst. He gives me sprint burst hit. No, we don't have sprint burst. Okay, we should be able to beat this by macro. He's gonna have to pre-drop. Beautiful hook, line, and sinker. Literally textbook orchestration! Holy fucking shit. Holy fucking shit. That is actually textbook. Let's fucking go. There he is. Y'all see that blood? That's all I needed. That blood gave me the info that he was towel chaining. I knew he was towel chaining. That's why we didn't reload as well. We were looking to see if we can get scratch arming information. We don't even need bottles for this. Perfect. We know that he doesn't have enough gen progress on rotation as well to finish the last gen, so we pick up, we kind of 3K. Make me feel a certain way. Very high octane game. It really shows where game sense is important on a killer like this. Alright, remember, after this, y'all, I'm gonna put on the music for a couple minutes. I need to go put on the white makeup. We're gonna put on the nose. We're gonna put on the wig for the rest of the stream. And I'm gonna be looking to go for another 4 more hours. Very close fucking game, though. There's Hatch. No! That's my mans. Yes, I am your man, baby. Distortion, distortion, distortion. I will let them know in case they want to see my POV, because they probably would really like that. Holy fucking shit, dude. Playing weaker killers is more fun. I fucking love Cold Tower, dude. The typing, it's so fast. Yeah, I type about 100 words a minute. I've been typing very, very long since I was like 7, 8 years old. Boom, boom, boom. Pretty decent builds, but not super OP. So although for the most part we had really fast chases, when you're playing Clown and you're not running any gen regression perks, it just means you can't afford to just spread yourself too thin, hooking everybody twice before you get your first kill. There came a point where when we did get our first sacrifice, there was 1 generator remaining with 3 survivors on the map. And this means that you can't afford to just continue hooking survivors that aren't going to die following that next chase, because all it takes is 2 survivors to group up on a generator without any toolboxes, without even prove thyself, and they will finish that generator by the time that you down a survivor through 2 health states, pick them up, carrying them to a hook, and consider going back to that generator. You may go to the wrong generator that's being worked on, but even if you do, and they're injured, they could have adrenaline. They could fully heal with adrenaline. They could sprint away pre-run before you get there. That gate could be open by the time it's 99. And Clown's just not going to be able to keep up with an in-game situation that looks like that. So I wasn't playing for round trying to get my final kill during the end game. I wanted to get my 3rd kill before all the last generators were completed. And so that was kind of why when we got to that last generator, I started to try to slow down my pacing. I started to try to see if I could corral the survivors around me. I wanted to create situations where if an unhooker came for somebody that I had hooked that wasn't dead yet, that it was the person on death hook. And once I could get my 2nd kill, if I could do that before all the generators were completed, that would be how I would get my 3K. That was why when we caught those 2 survivors out near the end game, remember when I said that we're going to go to try to find Jake, and we did catch Jake, yet we decided to go for the Ace at Killer Shack? I purposefully went for Ace because if I chose to chase Jake, Ace would have finished that gen. I could have risked adrenaline on the Jake. Everything could have, all for the most part, fallen apart. We still would have had Felix. Felix could have came in for the body block, and that would have lost me the game. I didn't want to take that risk, and that was why we went for Ace, because if I go for Ace and Jake has to go unhook the Felix, that means that nobody's doing that generator. I could down Ace, I could hook Ace, especially in proxy to that generator, pull them toward me, and it would not be safe for them, since the survivors that would be coming, they would not be survivors that could safely unhook. There was Felix who was basically injured. Felix wouldn't have been able to do that. Jake couldn't do it because Jake was on death hook. And with everything being in proxy to the generator, Jake would have just been a free kill. So that was how we were able to turn things back into our favor. And a big part about even creating that situation to begin with, if y'all remember, we identified who was going for the unhook at one point before we hit 1 generator remaining, and it was the Yui. I used game sense and identification based on where I had seen the survivors previously, and that meant that when I saw the unhook take place, I believe it was on the Jake at the time, or might have even been the Felix, excuse me, that was how I knew that it was the Yui. And I knew going back to the unhook in that situation would have been great, because going for the unhooker being the Yui who was on death hook, that means she doesn't have any anti-tunnel perks. At worst, she would have dead hard, which admittedly would have been really, really terrible, but especially since she didn't, and we see even she had sprint burst, so we would have had the information to identify that wasn't the case. This meant that killing the Yui and getting her out the game before that point would have made things much more manageable in the macro sense, since we're going from a 1v4 to a 1v3. And that's really what it's all about when it comes to macro and clown. You have to identify these situations. You have to be able to recognize what you should be doing at certain points in the match. And this is something that is purely going to come through experience. You can't just determine this by knowing clown as a whole. This is something also you just have to learn by just playing the game. You have to know how quickly generators can get completed. You have to, as at one point I call the internal clock, you have to recognize how the internal clock is pacing and how things are going. And that was what I used in a sense in order to figure out what I should be doing at the time, because I could have made many different decisions that would have been bad decisions. Like I said, if I would have gone for Jake simply because he was on death hook when the Ace could have worked on the gen, we could have either risked an adrenaline, we could have at best gotten a 2K because he gave us a strong chase, and then Felix and the Ace would have been at the exit gate, and we would have been able to stop them before it was opened. Remember, exit gates only take 16 seconds. Things could have genuinely fallen apart on us. We don't know, we didn't have a full scope of what perk the survivors were running. That was why I respected the DS on the Felix, and I slugged him near the end when he was unhooked shortly afterward, rather than going for going for that 3rd death hook. Because if Ace had DS, we didn't have any information on anybody else, and we didn't have the slug pressure, we could have lost the game. Because what if Felix also had adrenaline, right? So there's many different ways that things could have backfired against us if I made the wrong decisions. We went for safe calls that ultimately were in our favor, right? Because again, these survivors didn't have these perks, and we were able to pull survivors into our favor making these decisions. But that's really what it's all about, and that's basically what I was trying to demonstrate for you guys. So I hope you guys really like this video. I have been streaming for the last couple of months. If you didn't know, I haven't posted any YouTube videos for quite some time, but that is looking to change, this being the first one on my return. If you are interested in learning how to play Clown better, I have a very extensive Clown guide that I'll be sure to link in the description. It hasn't been updated too much recently, but I plan on making changes on that. Similarly, I do have an add-on tier list video that I do want to come out with very soon. I know people have been asking me about that, and honestly, I think these last couple of months have given me time to refine what that add-on tier list would be. I feel like if I had posted it sooner, it would not be as accurate to my presumption on certain add-on placements compared to now. I actually have made some changes in mind internally, so I'll be looking to get that out when I can. But other than that, I hope y'all enjoyed this video, and I'll see y'all next time. Later, gang.